Hello and welcome back to Senzo. We're back again. It is that time of the night where we have to talk about the case. You know, everything changes when we are here in the studio. It's like, it's our prayer. It's the room of prayer where we really pray and have our grievances. So today, I don't know, man, the case, the court, everything, the question, did it go well? Yes. But judge is back with the tricks, man. The judge is back with status tricks, in my own opinion. I mean, he's complaining about the Sowetan, complaining about how this court is conducted, like a mockery court. How is it conducted, like a kangaroo court? Wastage, time wastage, and all that. But it seems as if there was someone to blame, as always. I mean, there's always such remarks and looking at what the papers and the media and the JP. If I'm not sure, I think the JP is also part of the things that we hear about when the defense happened to have some problems. And in this case, it was Mngomezulu who was not present because he was sick, as the colleagues alluded. And then we were told about the mockery and all that is happening. And seems as if the judge was not only talking about that, he also is worried that the media is portraying this case as it is right now, the case that is wasting time, wasting our taxpayers' money, in my opinion. So the judge was telling us that their case is pending for 20 years. So yeah, that's the gist of the story. Emily, what do you think?
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's dragging. It's dragging. With this case in particular, it's unique. It's a first in the country. And on top of that, it's something that can easily be solved at the same time. I don't know if it's making sense, but it's not supposed to be complicated. What has made this case complicated is these people that are in it, that have decided, you know what, they're not going to do things that they're supposed to do, and they're going to come into court and defend each other, in my opinion. And it's merely my speculation of the situation. I'm not saying that that's the case, but it's a simple case. Had you just gotten those people in the house and you made sure that you interrogate them and you get them to speak on who pulled the trigger and ended Senzo's life, because they were all there, we wouldn't be here. Okay, we wouldn't be here. But now we are here and police are protecting each other allegedly. Everybody is literally covering themselves and they don't want to get into trouble. So what we know so far is that Mangena has defended his findings of a positive match of the bullets found in the crime scene and the gun allegedly recovered from accused number 3 Mthobisi Ncube as Cleveland case. Meanwhile, Mr. Peter said the defense's ballistic expert said that the bullet gave them inconclusive findings and therefore cannot be a match. Okay, so court today or yesterday, rather, I don't know what time it is. You know, guys, I don't even keep track of the time anymore when I come into the studio. But court started with Advocate Badloy saying that Mngomezulu is unwell and had a health episode last night. So he requested Advocate Mnisi to stand in for him. Mnisi said that he called him early in the morning and he agreed to stand in for him. So the judge asked that somebody phoned him who is a judge to inform him about the report in Sowetan, where the editorial said that this court is a mockery of justice, or this trial, or this case in particular, is a mockery of justice and how they are going on about it. He asked if there's anybody who read that, and Advocate Baloyi said that he read it. In fact, he discussed it with colleagues from the media. So the judge said that what they wanted to say was that it's a travesty of justice. So he was feeling or reading the article. I feel like that article really touched him in his studio. It touched his feelings. It made him upset. He's not happy about that article at all. And they said that they don't know what they are doing. So I guess this implying of they don't know what they're doing in that court really hurt his feelings, in my opinion. So Baloyi said that they did acknowledge that progress is being made in the matter, and the judge laughed and said that, you know why I'm laughing? It's because there's a case in South Africa that took 20 years. There is one today that has been on the roll for 20 years. It's in Pietermaritzburg. We all know. In my opinion, I think he's referring to the court appearance that happened concurrently today regarding former state president Jacob Zuma, the arms deal case. I feel like that's the case that he was talking about. That's the one that has been going on for 20 years, if not more now.
Question is, why is he even looking at that? Why does it matter?
He's a person of the law.
Yes, but why are you worried about that? Are you taking that as a president that is set for you to actually show your incompetence? Is that what you are saying? That since it's a mockery of there might be a mockery of whatever that is happening there, then bring it here. Is that what you are saying? The injustices that might be occurring somewhere else. Now you should bring it in your court. That's the reason.
He hates this comparison. He hates that with the arms deal case, there hasn't been think pieces that are written criticizing the case and the court and how it's run.
Because with the arms deals case, there's basically nothing. So if it was to go through, there are a lot of things that will be exposed, and I mean, the media does not talk about that a lot.
No, they don't talk about that case. But I thank the Lord now that in 2024 they broadcast the proceedings. So if you need to go and listen to for yourself and your own understanding, you go and you listen. I prefer it that way, honestly speaking. This whole thing of opinions, and sometimes it gets out of hand.
Yeah, no. The problem is that what is happening there's respect in that court. There are procedures that are followed. As much as it's a case that one might brand it politically, but there's respect there. There is no iron fist way of presiding over that court.
And another disturbing thing is why the comparison? Why the comparison? Because that is clearly a political case. Are you trying to tell us that Senzo Meyiwa trial is also political?
Oh, well,
why the comparison?
It couldn't be far from the truth. I mean, in my opinion, if that is what he's trying to tell us.
Maybe that's what he's trying to tell us now, that this case is completely political now.
Yeah, I mean, in any case.
And it's almost like he's warming us to the expectation of us that it may even take longer, you know. That's how I felt. That's how I felt, like it may not take 20 years, but it's unreasonable for all of us to expect this case to conclude within a year. I mean, he went on to say that he has been here for a year, and they say that they are saying that he doesn't know what he's doing. You know, so it is.
Yeah, because of his behavior.
So it did.
In my opinion. I mean,
I want that article. I want whoever wrote it.
Because of his behavior. I don't normally agree with the mainstream media, but in this case, I feel like someone's ego was bruised because they are telling the truth.
They really hurt his feelings. And Mnisi also said that he knows of the Buremark trial that went on for 11 years, and the judge said that he was still here. So Baloyi then said that he didn't understand the editorial to mean that they don't know what they are doing. They acknowledged that it is not an ordinary case, and that sometimes the delay depends on the complexity of the case. So the judge said that every person is entitled to his or her opinion, and the opinion must be factually based. I don't know what he means that the opinion must be factually based. What does he mean? Because this court is very weird, okay? It's very difficult to not want to talk about it. And at the same time, you cannot say that what people are seeing is not what is actually happening. A majority of the court of public opinion are agreeing that this trial is very weird. It's not normal. it's something is not right. And also it doesn't help your interjections and your your the way you like to interrupt the lawyers when they're supposed to do their jobs. It's very weird. I don't think we've ever experienced anything like it before. It's a first for most of us. So now you're expecting mainstream media to stay out of it and not have anything to say about the weirdness that is happening in that court. I don't understand. Then Baloyi said that he thinks that they were more concerned about the systemic delays, like the change in presiding officers, miscommunication between himself and the defense, and so on. So it's funny how here he also doesn't include the fact that sometimes the exhibits, they come in late. Sometimes witnesses are not available. It's how he is making it seem like it's the defense's fault most of the time. So I also had that sense and urge that Baloyi is protecting the media somehow. I don't know if you guys could pick it up, or if you felt that way. I felt like, he's protecting or protective or very careful when he speaks and addresses the media. It's like, he's treading very carefully around the media, and he doesn't want to upset them. He doesn't want to upset them. And I could pick it up that he doesn't want to criticize them too harshly. So Ramosepele also resumed with his cross-examination of ballistic expert Colonel Chris Mangena, and he started off by asking him whether in his office he had given his findings to a peer reviewer who differed with his opinion. And Mangena said that, as he had said yesterday, he gave it to 4 of his peers, and they all agreed with his findings. So Ramosepele then said, I'm not talking about this case. I'm asking about other cases and whether you've had an instance where a peer said that your findings were inconclusive or found otherwise. He asked him that in your 29 years, have you given your work for peer review in another case and it was said that it's inconclusive? Mangena said that if he recalls, there's no case where he made it positive and someone said that it was negative. So clearly here Mangena is protecting himself, protecting his work, not wanting to admit if he's ever made any mistakes in the past. Maybe he hasn't made them, but so far he's letting us know that when he's made a decision, no one has ever come to disagree with him. So Ramosepele then asked him, inconclusive means doubtful. Either it is or it is not. So you cannot positively say that it is the firearm that fired this bullet, or you cannot positively say that it is the firearm that fired this bullet. Is that correct? Mangena said that he had never had an instance where he found a positive match and a peer found that it wasn't. He said, I have an instance where peers say it's inconclusive. So Ramosepele argued that the findings are subjective. The judge said that the books he read say that ballistic are scientific, or ballistics are scientific. So Ramosepele said that it's in 2 parts, scientific and subjective. Then the judge said that he's happy with him saying it's both, because subjective can mean anyone can make a finding on it. So obviously this subjective argument became a serious problem, because when you say that it's subjective, it means that he just took it, made guesswork, and just came to a conclusion according to how he felt, or it's solely based on how he feels or what he has come to find out as he's doing his work. So the judge came in there quickly to try and make Ramosepele take back just referring to it as subjective. He wanted him to include the term scientific as well. Scientific and subjective. Because scientific means there's a form of order and process in it. Mangena doesn't do as he pleases. While subjective is more like he does as he pleases. And the judge was not going to let it go. No, he came in and corrected Ramosepele. You know how he does. He was like, you can't say that. Well, Ramosepele then moved on to the findings of Captain Sireo. Ramosepele then told Mangena to find which bullets he tested that were marked TB7 and TB8. And Mangena said that they were FMJs. Sireo made a combination of FMJs and CMJs and went to the harder compound and also found matches on the bullet. So Mangena then said that he does not mean that if it's a FMJ, it won't produce any marks. It will produce some of the marks, but even if you cannot shoot two FMJs, one after the other, their marks will not be exactly some of them. And you can see that they are fainting somewhere. So it depends on how the marks were transferred to that bullet. You can get the same type of bullet shot in the same firearm, and one has more clear marks, but the other one does not have more clear marks. So Ramosepele then asked him, all that you are saying is that marks are not consistently transferred or imparted to the bullet. Then Mangena said, that's correct, my lord. That's why we don't shoot one test, we shoot two or more tests. And if you are doing your other comparison so that your bullet, if it does not have the clear marks, you can use it and test one to do that. In this instance, that's why I use the number of them, so that I cannot do a lot of comparisons on those other bullets.
Well, I mean, we are in this situation of one. I think what puzzled me is that you have never had an encounter where you had your peers disagree with you. That's number one, which is very crucial. It's a red flag. That means you are always right when. And the issue of inconclusivity, you get the gist of it. Yesterday I did touch on it to say that you must get to understand what we call, what do they call, the sleepover. It's sleepover or something like that. It is being used now, later on.
Yes.
More to justify why there were no marks.
Or the marks are not the same.
The marks are not sufficient. The guy. It's worrying that someone decided to take a gun that had insufficient information and pinned it, in my opinion, to these people. You test and it is pinned to these people. But I'm not sure if you've touched at the side of a judge before the adjournment.
I have
of the
touched
morning,
on it, but you can continue and put your opinion.
Where the judge, he has developed this tendency of disturbing, in my opinion, when the state's witness are cornered. He comes and disturbs. And his disturbance is normally from the position of either not understanding or just messing, in my opinion, just messing up the record and stopping the momentum. He did it again with Mnisi today.
Yes, he did.
He did it in the morning with
Ramosepele, and then he did it again with Mnisi, yes.
Yes. He says the ignoring the scientific part. As if now when Mnisi touches on the scientific part later, which is very interesting, that he goes on to explain and define what is required for science to take place, consistency and other stuff. Now the judge is also found wandering and disturbing again. But he used that scientific part to disturb this guy, Ramosepele.
Because Ramosepele are saying that it's subjective how Mangena came to his conclusion.
Which is part of the principles. And then the
judge was like, no, it was scientific and subjective. And he actually forced Ramosepele to say that it's scientific. No,
that was said in the what we call it, in one of those principles. If you read in the third one, is it does mention the subjectivity of your whatever that you come to conclusion to. as an
Yes.
expert, and then they quote the issue of training and the issue of the experience that seemingly today is immaterial. Veiws, Ngapha, thank you very much
Veiws
for your generous
Ngapha.
offer. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. We appreciate you.
May God increase.
May God increase you.
Yes,
We
your
appreciate you.
finances. Thank
We
you
really
very
appreciate
much.
such. It is motivating. We now understand why we don't sleep. Yeah, so the judge there was disturbing because this guy, Mangena, the expert, he says before you answer, you know, that means you don't want that person to answer. Before you answer, you bring your theories and everything else that was not that was unnecessary. You could have waited for the proceedings to continue and then later clarify as usual.
But no, he doesn't do that.
But you jump now
He
in
can
between
never
them
do that,
to
no.
disturb the momentum. That's a momentum that is going where Ramosepele is finding this man wandering with his pants down. And then you come, you say, before you answer.
And it's very important that it is made clear whether he came to that conclusion subjectively or not. Because this is looking more like a witch hunt, like we said yesterday, and it's having that vibe that Mangena just did whatever he had to do.
Do you understand?
It's not giving that firearm.
It sounds and
is
feels
exactly-
like I should have always found out this way. My conclusion should have been this
even
way.
before he started working on the ballistics, he already had the end in mind, that this is what is supposed to be the outcome. So it's very important for the defense to put it point blank on the record that this is where they are going. And the judge at every turn stops that from happening.
So the testing also now, the testing that was conducted by Mangena, where Ramosepele were asked about the testing, he disturbed that momentum. And then when they went to break, right?
Yes.
Disturbed the momentum. And then when he came back, Ramosepele did probe on Mangena on the issue of testing. How many test bullets did he shoot?
But I hadn't arrived there yet. So the judge was like, so how many did you shoot? And Mangena said that he had shot 8. Ramosepele then asked him, on that score, is it an industry standard that how many, a minimum of tests that you must fire to make an examination and comparison, and a minimum, or are you allowed to shoot until the zenith you find a mark that you are looking for? And Mangena said that the minimum that they shoot is 2 in the firearm, but they don't have a maximum, and it will depend on the maximum that was fired first. So Ramosepele asked him, coming to the test of Sireo pertaining to TB8. Sireo is another police who did the ballistics test. So if you did not find sufficient marks on TB8, is it possible to go to Sireo and ask him to make charts for us so that we can see the marks that he said he saw on 8, so that our expert can also go and verify that 8?
You see, we must give flowers where they are due. Like now, I'm giving flowers to Lindani Dube for the generous donation. Thank you, Lindani. We appreciate what you have given us, and may God increase you. Ramosepele on the other side. As you do that, please like the video, guys. Thank you very much for
please,
those who
guys,
are
like
really
the
pushing
video.
this channel. Please like the video and watch. I know someone was saying, hey, the adverts are long. Please do watch those adverts. Unfortunately, and if you need something, interact with them. Why not? They are just adverts like any other adverts. Right. So, Ramosepele.
Yes.
He aced this one. I can't mark him wrong. I can't mark him down. He was on point in everything.
And I think it's for the first time that I saw the judge interrupt him as much as. That's when you know that,
You are doing something
yes,
right.
Yes. When you see him interrupt you, when he's not interrupting you, something is not right. Like Mnisi, it was way too quiet today. That's my opinion.
No,
opinion.
Mnisi was disturbed, most.
But not as much as Ramosepele was.
You see what I must say when it comes to this aspect, they organized themselves properly. Mnisi's cross-examination was not mostly about the technicalities of all these things that Ramosepele was going through. It was all about poking hole, and he did.
He did poke hole.
In fact, he succeeded more than anyone so far, because he got this guy to admit that there was no sufficient evidence on bullets to actually link this gun.
I heard the different manufacturers of bullets.
No. There is a point. This is where the judge stepped. The guy is saying, because of how old the gun is and how often it has been used, it sometimes lost the markings, but you are still able to make the finding that this is the gun. Do you understand? And he couldn't have said that to anyone else other than Mnisi. He literally admitted that there was no sufficient evidence to link this gun with the one that Rudolph's was testing. There is doubt as to whether this gun was either the barrel was changed or not. Because when he found the bag, it was open.
So the barrel could have been
changed. And the question of how he got to link this gun, even though there was no sufficient evidence that with the gun that was tested by Rudolph's.
So he said that Ramosepele was asking, with particular to the TB8, if there were any marks on it, so that their expert can also verify that very same 8 that Mangena said that he had used, to see if they find the marks that are consistent or meet the threshold of a match. Mangena said that it's not that he failed to make a positive ID on the test. He said he chose 5 and 9 because he saw better marks on 5 and 9. And if Sireo was doing the same test, then maybe he could see better marks on 4 and 8. So he said that he could not say. Then Ramosepele asked him, hence my point when I asked to the question about subjectivity on the subjective level on number 8, who didn't see sufficient, and Sireo sees sufficient on 8. Baloyi stood to object at this point, and he said that he doesn't think that's what the witness was saying. He was saying that the preposition is put that he didn't see sufficient marks, but the witness is saying that he saw better marks. So the two concepts are not the same. The judge asked Ramosepele to be clear, and Sireo selected himself that he was not directed by Mangena. Mangena said that he chose 5 and 9 and took all 8 of them to Lieutenant Colonel Sireo to make comparisons. So he chose 4 and 8. So he said that he could not tell him to choose 5 and 9 because he also chose 5 and 9. It was his choice. He could have chosen any other, and he came to the same conclusion either way. So Ramosepele then asked him, did you tell him that you had a match? And Mangena said, I left him alone. He did all the testing alone, and he came to me with the conclusion that all the bullets were positive in the tests. So Ramosepele now moved to what Mangena had said yesterday when he testified, that he tested other firearms besides the Beretta that was found to be eliminated, and he tested the exhibit firearm in this case. So he was asked how many firearms did he test for this case, and Mangena said that the Beretta FS had 2 compact 9mm Parabellum, the 9mm CZ83, which was also negative. And Mangena said that he did not know from whom the firearms came from because he only received the case number. it seems like it's a norm for him to not know or follow up on who the ownership of the firearms belong to. He says that he doesn't do that. He only receives the case number and he only works with the case number. So he also said that there was also a list of 16 other cases where they had to compare these firearms, and all of them were negative to the bullet. So he gave all these case numbers of those cases. I had Bo Sebokeng, I had Bo Fosloras, I had Bo, a lot of cases all over the country. And Ramosepele then said those eliminations, were they done via the lab or via IBIS? Can IBIS eliminate a bullet, or it only deals with the cartridge cases? Then Mangena explained, because Ramosepele asked him to explain what IBIS is. He said that it's the Integrated Ballistics Identification System, where they have the database where they capture the images of all the countries and firearms received for further comparison. So they take 5 to 10 minutes. With the bullet, it requires the whole circumference of that bullet, and it requires the whole grove that may take up to 45 minutes. So with rifles and pistols, they only acquire the cartridge cases. And for a revolver, they use the bullet because the cartridge remains in the firearm. So for a revolver in this database, they only put the images of the bullet. And for pistols, they use the images of cartridge cases. So they take those pictures, they put them in the database. And he was explaining about how it takes so long to even load an image or find the match. Because when you upload a picture of a certain bullet, it looks through until it finds a match. It can take a long time before that happens. So he said that they only have the bullet with this case to compare. With the case of 636, they only have bullet. With other bullets on the system, he said that it wasn't going to be possible to use IBIS to find that bullet on the database of the 9mm pistols, because the bullets of the 9mm were not captured on the IBIS system. So Ramosepele now went to his testimony, where he said that on the 17th of June 2020, he went to Pretoria North Station to take measurements of accused number 2. So during Mngomezulu's cross-examination, he said that in the morning he met Colonel Gininda, but then later on, of course, he changed his statement to say that he could no longer recall whether Colonel Gininda was there or not. But what I remember is that he actually changed it to say that no, he never met with Colonel Gininda there. That was after the break. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
So Bale said that he was clear from the beginning to say that he received a call from Colonel Gininda, but he never met him at the police station. Ramosepele said that he was not thumbsucking what he was saying. He actually listened to Mngomezulu's cross-examination, and the judge said that it was fine, and he asked what was the relevance of asking this. Ramosepele said accused number 2 said Gininda was there, while the police officers who came to testify said that he was not, including Colonel Gininda himself. So the judge said that Mangena said that he can't remember. He cannot put credence of that evidence. He can't remember.
Fagaza, man. You might as well take the mic. Do the thing. Because, I mean, if someone is contradicting himself in the very same court, you seem to forget the part of the defense. You only remember what you want to remember.
He does.
You might as well just take the mic and do the most. Just fagaza, man. Fagaza, because honestly speaking, for heaven's sake, if you ask me, Sowetan was right about this whole court thing, in my opinion.
And they were very soft and gentle because they didn't go hard on him. They didn't tell him what he needed to hear. They are still treading carefully because he's a judge.
I really don't know why this man does not even check or watch back what he does in that court. It's a mess. It's a mess. You are a judge. You are supposed to write both theories. You're not supposed to take one side and say, hey, yeah, he's doing 1, 2, 3. This man lied on the very same stand, not even through the affidavit, and the very same stand, and he changed because of Baloyi interfering. And you allowed Baloyi to interfere with that cross-examination, and then the record changes now. You allowed the record to change, in my own opinion.
He came back and changed the record himself.
He was asked almost 3 times. Asked one thing 3 times.
It was certain. That is certain.
The guy was certain. The only thing he forgot is where, in which office.
So after the short adjournment, it was now Advocate Charles Mnisi's turn to cross-examine Colonel Mangena. He said that he had a bug or flu, and his voice was husky, so he advised that he might not be audible.
Mautwane Africa Chabati, thank you very much.
Thank you. Kimang? Who is it?
Mautwane.
Mautwani. That doesn't sound right.
There, it's beamed.
I need to see it so that I had pronounced it properly. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So also Mnisi started off by asking him that as he was listening, to his testimony from the Forensic Science Laboratory Ballistic Section, he asked him if it's correct that science is an art of precision, accuracy, and consistency. These are big words. Mangena said that is correct, and Mnisi said, and it's underpinned on the marks you would find on the exhibits, and Mangena said yes. Mnisi said that he had a bit of a concern because Ramosepele asked, according to the defense expert, he arrived at the conclusion that says that it's inconclusive.
Isn't it funny, before we go to Ramosepele, we go out to Mnisi, that this man still fired the FMJ bullets.
Yes.
To test to test Rudolph's matching, and he doesn't even use one, or maybe he does use one, just that it does not match.
It didn't match the FMJs.
Yeah.
They didn't match.
But, it is funny. Maybe you're not seeing this. If Rudolph's fired FMJs on the case of 2015, what has changed? Rudolph's arrests accused number 3 on the basis of firing FMJ.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
With the Cleveland case.
Yes, with the Cleveland case.
Yes. And they managed to find the marks.
Yes.
And then, all of a sudden, this is something that happened 2015.
2015.
Later on. Do you get me?
Yes, after the incident.
Later on, after the incident of
the Spaza house, yes.
If the gun, maybe the marks were deteriorating, they were getting wiped out as time goes on. But honestly speaking, he was arrested through the FMJ.
Yes.
And then when you need to fire CMJ to get the link of the gun. Eh?
Oh, that happened in the scene.
2014.
2014. With no firearm. At least with the Cleveland case, Rolf had the firearm. So you just have a bullet.
You just happen to think, okay, maybe because the bullet is FMJ that was found in a scene, let me fire the FMJ. But my question is, the latest case of this gun, the testing was done using FMJ.
Yes. And now Mangena comes in.
And then you come now, all of a sudden.
And that CMJ is a match. Njani.
Don't you find that suspicious?
I do find it suspicious. I won't lie.
And then the gun has not been used since this man has been arrested, I would assume. And then you fire samples. Those samples cannot even match rule of samples.
They're not matching.
Isn't it funny?
It is funny. Manje sotsini. Agiri manje, they are taking everybody for a ride. We are just not going to care enough because this is ballistic science. This is ballistic evidence. It doesn't. It's too dark and dense for our brains. So we'll just let it slide.
And guess
but
what?
It doesn't make sense.
And then guess what? The friend, the friend on a part. This guy Cyril on a part because he's the only one who wrote an affidavit out of all the friends of no color that tested that are mentioned in that court. He's the only one who happens to write an affidavit affirming the results of Mangena. He uses FMJ to do so. Now, Ramosepele wants those tests and is being ignored in that court.
Yes, he's being ignored.
It didn't go anywhere.
And he wants to make that comparison.
And from where I stand,
adjournment.
Yes, there's adjournment. We might take it lightly. It's something that is very.
He actually adjourned way before
the
time of the break.
Same as he did with Mnisi. 10-1, he adjourned. Even here, adjourning early.
And
I mean, I don't know if people understand what FMJ are. Those bullets that they are saying they have what
they're soft.
They are no FMJ are strong.
Okay.
The
CMJ
are
are
weaker.
the soft ones. Yes. And then FMJ are
when
the hardcore
Rulos
ones.
was firing the gun to match the gun with Cleveland case, they were using FMJ, the hard ones that this man says they cannot. That's why they couldn't pick up because they were firing FMJ. Now he had to fire a soft one. Trying to say that because the marks are not sitting on the FMJ, it's harder to actually create the marks on FMJ, individual marks and whatnot. And then he fires them. Out of that sample that he fired, the friend, Cyril, uses FMJ to link, to approve the results. But he doesn't use FMJ. He uses FMJ to approve the result as a match. How? Kanjani?
I wouldn't say for Mangena.
Kanjani?
Tough.
And I wanted to those results to come of the friend. How he did his testing? How did he arrive to the conclusion that this is an issue of subjectivity that this guy Ramosepele was talking about? No, people can just come and sing the same tune. All of a sudden, it's all well and good. He's even refusing. Let me not jump the gun. Continue.
Now I'm at Mnisi. Are you done with Ramosepele?
I'm done. Just said though.
No, but one thing is for sure, it's not make sure. It doesn't even matter at this point how the judge tries to rescue him. It's not make sure at all. And if Gahlangana in his judgment, then we all know what that means. You understand? He likes to pretend to understand when he understands nothing. So that's my opinion.
And the judge disturbed Ramosepele there.
He disturbed him a lot.
He comes in and say, you are coming with a theory that Ramosepele was insinuating that that these bullets were chosen for Cyril. Where is that theory coming from, and what is the relevance of that theory from the church? Why is he even bringing that, which Ramosepele did not even say, by the way, didn't even insinuate that.
Confusing the record.
And then he comes and say, are you saying that these were selected? You are saying they were selected. Where are you getting that?
Tomorrow he'll be saying Ramosepele said it.
Yes. This guy is a mess. And then Ramosepele Ramosepele leaves it because he is disturbing him. He leaves it. I wanted him to probe on that. Like, you see, what I like about Mnisi, yes, Ramosepele is strong now. He's very strong. But I don't think he should have left this part of testing. They should have seen how the friend arrived to that. I mean, there is an affidavit of this friend affirming to such.
He should insist.
He should insist to get how you arrived to that, same as he did to Mangena.
So they need to recall this guy.
Cirelo, was he ever called?
No.
No. So it's
not
not a recalling.
So they need to call him to come and testify.
Yes.
Subpoena him.
Yes.
Then they should. What if they got to lose? How is that going to affect them? Is it going to affect them?
In fact, it's going to even make them be stronger.
No, he should insist. He shouldn't let it go. Tomorrow, stand up in the morning and say, I would like for Cyril to come and testify. Insist. Then hear what Advocate Balo is saying. Do they have
and now they come with
a
list of 16 or something of guns that were eliminated, just so that we can ignore the issue of Chico's gun specifically that was given to him. Now we must know the linking of the cases and whatnot, which is irrelevant to me, if you ask me.
Yeah, it was irrelevant. I didn't even bother myself writing those cases.
But the main aim why, in my opinion, that was there, it was to make it look like, oh, it's not only Chico's gun. But I see the cases that were done. There was crime that was done. Why was Chico's gun brought there? The other comparison, there are case numbers and everything. But Chico's gun does not have a case number.
No, it does not.
You know, it's based on allegations. When have you had such? Based on allegations, you eliminate the gun.
So we're just going to speculate here to say that they did look for a gun, in my opinion.
Oh, and by the way, hey.
They did look for a gun. But the story as to how they ended up even testing Chico's gun is what's missing from the story.
It's based on allegations. Since when we do police work?
No, but police don't ask for firearms of people that were not at the scene.
All the cases that you mentioned, all the cases that you mentioned, they were based on what? On case number. There was crime committed there.
Yes.
What crime did Chico's gun commit for you to eliminate
to actually go through and get it tested? That to me is worrying. It's a worrying factor there. And we have a huge question mark.
It's like cleansing was being done, if you ask me, in my opinion.
Exonerating to say that you were never there or this firearm is taken out. So the theory completely changes.
And these other ones were done by, is it Yashin Pilander, something like that. But this one was done by you. Now we are reporting on behalf of Yashin or someone else. But this one, it was you who did it.
Okay, then Ramosepele asked that according to the defense expert, or rather, Mnisi was saying that Ramosepele asked according to the defense expert, he arrived at the conclusion that says that it's inconclusive whether the scene bullet versus the firearm are matching. But you said you were able to find a match. That's what Mangena said and told Ramosepele yesterday, that he was able to find a match. And Mangena said that yes, he's seen a number of individual characteristics and marks that the bullet was fired from that firearm. There's so many loopholes. First of all, you receive an open seal bag. Second of all, it's not matching the one that Ramosepele had done. Third of all, you're not using the same bullets that, the type of bullets that Ramosepele was doing to test. And Ramosepele, the incident that he was testing for is completely different and isolated to the incident that you are testing for. And here you are not making sure that your exhibits are make sure. You understand what I'm saying? You're not making sure that your exhibits are exactly what they're supposed to be, in my opinion.
You know what made me cringe there? He said when Mnisi was touching on the subjectivity of the results, even though the science had precision. And he was asked about the gun, the license, the owner, and all that. The other gun, the CZ, what. He said, I did not. I did not care who the owner was. He was only interested on seeing what I want to see. Yes. What the hell is that? What did you want to see?
That's why I say that he had an end in mind.
What did you want to see so much?
It's like he already knew what the results must be like before he even started working. So his work, he was shaping towards the result that he wanted. Allegedly.
Hence, in my opinion, you said, yeah, you're right to allege to that. Because the linking of this gun, all of a sudden, it's casting doubts. It's not a clear-cut linking between the Rudolph's test and these ones. And funny enough, that this guy, Ramosepele, touched on. That's why I'm saying Ramosepele was on point. He touched on the fact that Rudolph's use FMJ. You use Rudolph's shootings to link the gun, but you use CMJ.
Is there a link?
Let's forget about the bullet on the scene, which is CMJ, as it is assumed, right? A weaker version. But for you to link the gun, we were linking CMJ with FMJ. You shot CMJ, you shot FMJ. It did not help you to link Rudolph's shots or test shot that were done. You had to use CMJ to see FMJ of Rudolph's. Isn't that fun?
It is weird.
There is a weakness there that is happening, that is not clear. You know?
Icon. Mnisi also brought up Ramosepele's point when he said that how he comes to the conclusion that it's subjective in nature. So in other words, he looked at something and then he says that he's happy with it, and this is the answer to the question that I've been asked to work on, which brings us back to the subjectivity matter, you know. And Mangena said that he was objective when he looked at them until he saw the markings. He said, I saw the markings.
And it is answering nonsense, in my opinion. He's answering nonsense. We are not asking you whether upon taking this test were you objective. And in his answer, that's what he's answering.
That he was
it's objective. Not about him. We're saying your conclusion is objective on the basis that someone can arrive on a different findings on the very same test.
So what you give is what you feel is correct.
Is correct.
It doesn't mean that it has been tested thoroughly to say that it's correct, or that you followed the objectivity of the structure of how it's supposed to be that you come to that finding.
There is no standard way.
No. That is
put there to say, here's a standard way of finding these things other than the markings and the consistency and whatnot. There's nothing that says, if you see up to this point, this is the case, this is a yardstick of you being able to say there's a positive match. But you are told that you might be able to see certain patterns, reading certain patterns, and then on the basis of what you feel, you're like, oh yeah, I see. Here's what, here's what. Oh, according to me, these patterns look the same. Therefore, it is subjective.
Well, he said that he saw the marks were sufficient for him to see this is the right firearm. Well, Mnisi said, do I have it right that there is room within forensic science operating system which creates a bit of doubt regarding conclusiveness of one aspect to another? Mangena said that it depends on the experienced analyst or the experience the analyst has. He said he asked 4 and he will agree. And they all agreed on the results. So he's saying that he asked 4 people to review and they all agreed on the results that he produced. Mnisi
Let
then
us
said,
say at this point in time, because there's only one who puts his signature down and said, yeah, this is the case. Only one.
Serowe.
Eh.
The rest did not want to commit to that extent. Good for them though, because now ngabe ziyakhala. But they can still be subpoenaed depending on how the situation goes. Asaz. Then Mnisi said, do I have it right to understand that there's room that creates a bit of doubt? And Mangena said that it will depend on the experience of the analyst. So in this case, he said, I asked 4 analysts and all of them agreed on those results. And Mnisi asked him, does experience count in determining ballistic exhibits? And Mangena said that when it comes to microscopic comparison, experience counts.
He will soon contradict himself to that also.
What was the contradiction?
When he later said that he does not know first how they expect issue. How do you, at what level do you become an expert? You know, and he's contradicting himself now and saying that, oh no, as long as you have tested 1, 2, 3 so much, there is no clear
mandate of his job
when it comes to that experience part. There's no
it's
clear.
Not quite clear.
It's not clear. There's a gray area, as Mnisi was saying.
There is a gray area. It's like, who does Mangena answer to? Just a question I have. Who does he answer to?
So there's no way you can say, okay, he is an experienced person. I can be experienced on the basis that I've tested so many. You can also be experienced on the basis that you have worked so many years, but the cases that you have tested or using the microscope, you have used the microscope less than me. You know, it's not clear as to what is an experience in this case. Is it you being exposed to that thing so many times, or is through the lapse of time you working as
ballistic expert or ballistic analyst? Well, then Mnisi asked him, someone who has been working in that division in forensics for a year. And Mangena said that he will say that that person would be in training and lacks experience. And then Mnisi asked him, that's why I asked for the period one can look at to say that these number of years of experience wouldn't make me doubt them. And Mangena said, I cannot say. You'd find that a person who has been there for 4 years but has not been using the microscope every day, as opposed to someone being there for years using the microscope every day. So his level of experience, it seems, is on the use, or is heavily determinant on the use of a microscope only. And that troubles me, because his job is far broader than just looking at a microscope.
Yeah, let's push the like buttons, guys. Please press the like.
It starts with the scene itself, right?
Let's press the like buttons. Guys, I mean, how often do we tell you what is going to happen? It happens. Emily, I told you the judge was going to read, by the way.
Oh, he said he read and...
Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. I was reading the ballistic and I was able to even predict what is going to read. They are predictable.
Yes, you predicted yesterday. You did.
Is it a Mesangoma or what? But they are so predictable.
Look at my eyes.
They are so predictable. It's funny. I mean, if there was money put in here, I don't know how many times I would have been taking that money home.
Yo, I would be so rich if we were betting. If there was a betting thing.
Hey, I go.
I think we'd all be rich and be like Mr. Anonymous said 1, 2, 3.
You go bet.
Some
your bet. Judges of food in judge. Yeah, ballistic. What?
Look at my eyes.
It's funny. It's very funny. They're funny, man. They're like school kids.
Then Mnisi said you had to fire 8 test bullets in your analysis, and Mangena said that was correct. Why did you have to fire 8 bullets? Mangena now started to explain, saying that the exhibit bullet was a CMJ, the bullets from Rolofse was FMJ, and when he tested, he saw that there was a slippage.
Slippage. We explained slippage yesterday.
We did, but can you explain it again
We did
for
explain
those who are
it.
not watching?
You know, luckily I kept my notes. Now I have notes. Okay, unless someone decided to play with my note.
Oh my goodness.
Then I'm not gonna. But slippage, in a sense, what they are trying to say is the losing of these grooves that mark the bullet.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes, in a simpler terms.
So I even said to you, you find that the way they're putting, the way he's putting it's like now there's a piece of loose, so the bullet cannot be marked properly. There's breaking every time. Every time there's marking, there's a bit of breaking that does not, or the jump that does not mark the whole bullet consistently as it propel. That's what it is. So that's how they're trying to say, and that means this thing obviously as time goes on, if you shoot your gun most of the time, it loses. That's what they are trying to say now.
So he's starting to put the blame on the gun not working,
and that is called slippage.
As much as it was working when Rolofse was testing it. We have to also consider that in between, the gun was in a safe.
It was not used.
It was not being used.
Other than Rolof's
testing. So
testing.
how come when it comes to your hands, Mr. Mangena, it has slippage, like it's been working for the last 5 years or whatnot before it got to you?
Gandhi, it has been with you guys. In fact, you were taking it to destroy it.
It hadn't been working ever since Mr. Rolofse tested it for the Cleveland case.
And then started leaving it on an open exhibit bag. Then matata. Because you can change that barrel thing.
No wonder why that police officer was so adamant on how he makes sure that he stores the firearms. Remember who came and testified for the Cleveland case about how he had stored that firearm? It seems like they're trying to put the blame on him. Because if you're saying that there's slippage to make you create an impression that the gun was working all along, what are you saying? That it was working in the storage? That it was being used?
It sounds that's what they are saying.
That it was being used while it was supposed to be in police custody? Is that what you're saying?
But
that's why he was so strong in defending himself and his job, and to say that I do not even give out in open seal bags.
When I'm out, do you remember that? My key is with me.
Do you remember that, you guys? He was very adamant and consistent to say that I do my job properly.
I have seen this case making people who we at some point regarded as these top experts, non-factor, useless, rendering them useless. One might even say, for the lack of a better word, in cahoot with people that are alleged to be working behind the scenes in this case. Mangena, I respected that man.
From Oscar Pistorius' case, right?
It is up to the point when he started coming here and we're hearing him testify that we started hearing about the Congo issue. You know? This case. That's why Stan had to go and rest.
At the beach.
You don't want to be closer to it.
All the way
if you were to ask me, my lord, you don't want to be closer to it. I mean, it's a very difficult case that you find yourself the case that was supposed to be in Johannesburg being done in Pretoria. Everything about it, it's just, it changes. You know, it changes. Now, Mangena, you are found stuttering. Whole expect who went to America and did not sleep in that class. You went to China.
Maybe he was that good. He grew to a level of thinking that he could
not be questioned.
Yes, and also he could create what was required of him. You fall into that trap when you are this brilliant person sometimes.
Oh, yes, it's alleged.
Allegedly.
You know, but Icon of it. You were so...
You can make... I'm getting...
Articulate in Escas Pitoria's case without any shadow of doubt. All of a sudden, you are biting your tongue.
And this incident happened before the Oscar Pistorius one, ne?
Hey. Aye, man.
There's this danger that comes with being excellent or being regarded as the top person doing a particular job.
There is no danger.
Temptation comes.
There is no danger. You should not call a spade a spade. Don't come to court and say, yes, there was a bit of doubt, but I still managed to link the guy. What is that? Expect. What is that?
That is scary. That is scary. It means you will
I did not care of the owner. All I wanted is to see what I wanted to see.
Coincide.
What is that?
With the theory that you are given. That is scary. That is scary because it means they can come here and say, these things do not match, make them match. It's scary.
Or they can come to you and say, it does not make sense that they don't match. Once someone says that, psychologically you think, I'm going to find something.
I'm going to find something.
You end up finding something.
But did you actually find it? Something?
In a low statistical way, we call it the confession of data. It eventually confesses to you and say, yeah, I am what you want me to be.
Because you can tell even how he was explaining that it didn't happen over one day. It didn't happen over one day. He would come and then, of course, take a break and then go back. And I'm like, it seems like you were under a lot of pressure, Mr. Mangena.
You know, probably he put himself on that pressure because you're told it does not make sense. We find these people were there, and then there's testimony. I'm sure maybe that's a position that you'd hear. There's even testimony that these people, they are saying, they are confessing that this is 1, 2, 3. And then when you have sleepless night, trying to find something that is not there, eventually you start seeing spook. Ya confessa lento. And then you get a person of no color who says, I can actually create what you saw with a different gun though. Initially, when these things start, the marking starts, they can look similar.
Yes.
And then you are found with your pants down. As much as we like to clap for black excellence, but we have to clap for a fellow South African. Fellow South Africans.
One thing that has made us believe, I even remember with Senzo's mom, when AfriForum came in, she truly believed that with people of no color, this case was going to be very smooth.
To such an extent that she eventually became gullible to say,
because usually
everything they say is the truth.
There's a certain level of meticulation and paying attention to detail and really understanding what they are doing, and they have that reputation, honestly speaking.
But this one, we're span, shame. No, of this one was span. Otava span side. You know?
But not all of them. Akirin manches bonile nabo host nabo stain in. But this one,
but to
Mr.
come to
Peter say,
to come to
is
horse's
on point.
defense, ne? To come to horse's defense, just be a devil's advocate here.
He's new.
No, not horse. No. Stain. I mean, Stain. To come to Stain's defense, I cannot defend horses in defense. He's excited. To come to Stain's defense, I think somewhere somehow he was dribbled, in my opinion. Somewhere somehow he was dribbled.
Yeah, I can believe that theory.
Because
I think they got
you
to
hear
be
him saying that
emotional.
I was giving 1, 2, 3, I was giving 1, 2, 3. He was dribbled. Even in the horse. There's someone, you know, in this case, if it was a series, I would have named it, I would have given it a proper heading that says, a damn clever cop.
Damn clever cop.
Yes. There is someone behind the scene who thinks he's smarter. Probably.
Who manages to convince
Who's
them
doctoring now and then, in
to
my
do certain
opinion.
things.
In my opinion, doctoring, and then he thinks he's so smart. The problem is
He or she.
he or she, yes. And then what comes out when you're trying to cook pancakes, you get a fat cook. That's when you realize, I'm not good at this thing.
Because it seems like all these people, including Mangena himself, Mina, I feel like it sounds like he got played.
Yeah, most of them got played. Some of them, they were not. Some of them,
They were willing.
Yeah, but
Some of them were willing.
like your yebo, allegedly.
Some of them were willing.
Let's not talk more about this thing. Let's continue because we're going to end up saying allegedly. All is alleged. I mean, this is our opinion, just public opinion, nothing more.
Then Mnisi then said, you say your findings are factually based from the microscope, and Mangena said that that was correct based on what he saw on the microscope. And regarding the 8 test bullets he had to fire, Mangena said that the exhibit bullet was a CMJ, the bullets from Rule of Se was FMJ, and when he tested, he saw that there was a slippage which would not leave markings, so he needed to fire more to get the markings.
Which one created the slippage? The one that Rulers tested? Or your one?
His one.
Why? Because Rulers tested without fail.
I don't think he spoke of any slippages. It's only happening with Mangena. Then Mangena said that from the CMJ, he shot the MGA, the Celia Ballot. I saw even this was struggling. He actually asked for the spelling. You know, what is that now? Celia Ballot, and the 2 FMJs from PMP, and the other 2, he could not recall the manufacturer of those bullets. So he shot 2 from the Celia Ballot, and 2 from MGA, and 2 from FMJ, and 2 from the ones he could not remember. So Mangena said that he did not write the manufacturers of the bullets.
Oh, here's the funny thing. And he's being protected here. Eventually, the judge interferes when he's propped on it. You sweat. You go around to many car dealers. Let's make it simpler for you so that you understand it. You go around to many car dealers. You look for different kinds of cars, your Toyota, your BMW. You combine them.
Okay.
Then you do the testing of which car actually was here, at what speed was it traveling.
Okay.
When you eventually find an answer among those dealers, you do not name that actually it's a car from a dealer so and so, it's a Toyota car. You're like, I managed to find a car that was speeding at that level. This is the answer. Done. After sweating, going to Durban, you're looking for a car, different cars. you do not classify your answers or categorize your answers on the basis of dealers. Does that make sense?
No.
You know, the way they are probing about this, is it ANG? Is it, what is it called?
It's FMJ.
No,
MGA,
the company is
Seller Belot.
Is it MGA?
Yes, 3 companies that he mentioned. The third one,
no, it's not. FMJ is not a company. It's a type of a bullet.
But they are manufacturers.
FMJ is full.
Seller Belot,
full?
MGA, and FMJ.
Is it?
It's not a full metal jacket like you're thinking. It's the name of the company.
I did not catch that. What I heard is that he bought some FMJs, 2 of them. But was that a company? I did not know that.
Okay.
So,
the manufacturer, not the company.
I mean, manufacturer, yes. So after you got an answer, you do not care where you got an answer from. Is it matching through FMJ, which visually we know it's not through FMJ?
It's the CMJ.
It seems
the
as
one
if
he could not remember.
The one he could not remember is the one that matched. And when he's probed about it, he's saying, I didn't care. Why did you sweat? Look for these things. Why? Why? Because you could have taken any CMJ and tested. Why did you go look for the manufacturer?
Hey, we don't know. Mangena is doing things in a unique and special way. And Mangena said that they do not write the manufacturers of the bullet. So Mnisi asked him, you were well aware that the bullet found on the scene was a CMJ made from a lighter material, and that you needed to use a bullet that would come out with all the qualities, that would come out with all the markings. And Mangena said that no, it's not possible to determine that those bullets would come out with those exact markings or not. So Mnisi then said to him that,
then why did you feel you know what is fine about this? This guy is saying, okay, we could not find the markings because we were using FMJ that is harder. That is like an iron.
Yes.
Stronger one.
Yes.
And we said, okay, sharp. Right? Let us use the weaker one. Maybe we might find more marks. Softer one. You know, even if it's old, the barrel might be able to mark it through those grooves.
Even though it's
and then voila, you were able to find sufficient markings.
That are a complete
on the very
total match.
Yes. And then you on your answer you are saying it was not clear. It's not given that. Why did you create that theory, Guti? Let me go test through CMJ because whatever that happened on the scene is CMJ. How did you arrive to that?
That's
and you are saying no, it was not clear that could happen. That's why we tested with N.
That's more, I'm believing that there was an end goal in mind. This testing was not done on a normal basis. It was more like the end needs to look like this, in my opinion. So then Mnisi said that from the 8 bullets that you fired, which ones assisted you to do the comparison? And Mangena said that he used the test bullet 5 and the test bullet 9.
Now they are not named according to the manufacturer.
And Mnisi said that if he could share, he wanted to know whether they are Celias or FMJs, MGAs, and Mangena said that they are both CMJ bullets. And then Mnisi asked Mangena if he was involved also in the investigation of a scene in Louis Trichardt in Makhado where police were in a shootout with robbers and the police killed close to 18 robbers. I remember that story last year. It happened. It came out in bits and pieces. It wasn't really covered fully, but I remember some of the clips in mainstream media where the journalist had gone there on the day of the incident, and Mangena said that he was not involved in that case, and of those 18, Mnisi said that he was shocked that there were 2 women involved in that. Yeah, it was a big deal last year in Makado, and you know what gave them away? Posting on TikTok. They posted a lot on TikTok. So they made the police job very easy to find and locate them. That's my opinion. Well, then Mangena said that CMJ bullets are cheap bullets, mostly used for training, and he reloaded them, and they have different cartridge manufacturers. So you cannot exactly say who the manufacturer or who manufactured those bullets. And Mnisi said that he wanted to understand very perfectly on this one because he could see that this bullet was fired from the same firearm, although there was no transfer of the marks, which would allow you to say conclusively that the bullet was fired from the firearm because the barrel was worn out. So all marks were not transferred. And Mangena said yes. So, but now, because of the fact that there were not enough transfer of marks from the barrel of the firearm to the test bullet that he fired, how could he have concluded that this firearm, it was this particular firearm? Mangena said that the marks were transferred to the bullet, but not exactly the same. Some were transferred here, and the marks that they saw on the bullet are not clear on this particular bullet. But when you compare them with another bullet, you can see that these markings, he said, I've seen can match this one. When you go to another grove, you see that the markings are consistent with the first test. Now, Mnisi told him, remember in your affidavit when you went to Cleveland and you found the firearm in a broken seal? Mangena said yes. Mnisi then said, now, and you say there were no clear marks transferred between the bullet that you fired as a test bullet and those fired by rule of set to determine if this indeed was the firearm. That is your version. How could you have conclusively, beyond reasonable doubt, that indeed that the firearm was this one? And Mnisi also told him that, do you still remember that when you went to Cleveland to go fetch that firearm, you found a broken seal? You know, do you remember that in the affidavit that you prepared, you indicated that when you go and fetch the firearm from Cleveland, you found it in an open seal bag? Now you are saying that there were no clear marks that were transferred to the bullet that you fired as your test bullet, and the ones that were fired by rule of say in order to determine if this was your firearm. You say that some marks were there, some were not there. How could you have concluded beyond reasonable doubt that indeed this was the firearm? Well, the judge hopped in at some point when Mnisi was trying to drive this point home, and the judge was saying that he understands what this witness is talking about.
Quick to understand without understanding, if you ask me.
Hayi khona, hayi judge, no. Yazikhulumisa kakhulu Judge Mokgoatleng. He says that he understands what the witness is saying. The witness is talking about the explanation compositely. Ufaka amatem laphayana, and then he implies that people are slow for not catching the compositely term. Then he said that Mangena should demonstrate with his microscope as he spins the bullet.
Maybe you should do it. Maybe he should do
it on his behalf once and for all.
Maybe you should do. No, he's the one saying, maybe you should show them. Maybe you should. You know, I've never seen a judge who can testify to this point. I've seen biasness in my world, but I've never seen it to this extent.
No, the journalists are too kind. I've even noticed in the articles when they're being written about the events in court, they don't speak about this aspect of the judge. Not at all. In fact, I was shocked about the report. You remember, guys, that video I did on Judge Mokgoatleng and his conduct in the previous. I was surprised that back then the journalists were actually writing what was happening. They're not skipping. The demeanor of the judge was very important. They recorded it. Okay, they didn't skip when he does stuff like this. You don't have to put your opinion, but just tell the people what is happening. That's all. You know, and
somebody saying the firearms were reached compositely, my friend. Hey, Mbasi, allegedly.
Hey, Judge Mokhatleng, hi guys, no. I think from this moment forward, this thing of recalling retired judges, it needs to stop.
It needs to stop.
It needs to stop. Reputation yake was fine. Now, I am not sure what I am seeing. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying attention enough in the past. Of course I wasn't. I was too busy. It was hectic. Sleepless nights and studying and stuff. It was really bad. So I didn't follow cases to that detail, to TTT like I'm currently doing now. And let me tell you, I am horrified. I don't know. And when I try and look back and read on how could we have missed this, I find that this is not new and it's even more scarier. It's like, what? So you've done this before? Wow. Wow. And then he said that common sense tells him that there would be submatchings in one of the bullets he fired. And in another bullet, that similar marking won't be there. He will get it in another bullet, maybe a number 6. He asked Mangena if he was making sense. And Mangena said yes.
It's just like, sorry, maybe you should maybe before you answer this, explaining compositely. Maybe you should explain compositely. You should clarify. I see microscope. I see microscope, and in the spinning, you know, the bullet, real bullet, trying to decipher some markings as this is the judge, and this is the judge explaining the work of an expert.
And then he says, common sense.
I understand him.
Common sense should tell you that. I'm like, what common sense? What are you saying? Common sense should tell you that.
I understand him. There will be the bullets. Why he fired the 8 bullets? The others will have some marks. Others will not. Do you understand?
Then an argument ensued between him and Mnisi about signs. Then before even 1 o'clock.
And then he talks about Edwin, the definition that was given by Mnisi. He says it was actually by Edwin Langster. Mnisi is like,
and then
no,
he got up.
It's Einstein.
And then he got up and said,
and
know
maybe
what?
you should ask the expert.
12 minutes before 1 o'clock.
10 past 4.
He left so fast.
Yeah. Then the answer was lost there. Like that.
Sure, guys, Icon. No. This will go down in history as one of the most interesting court cases that this country has ever seen. I can see them all. But this one, Aishem. Then Mnisi said, is it your testimony that the firearm, was after the adjournment now, which you say Rolfse used to work on before you could work on it?
Yeah, let's remind people to press the like button. Thank you, Mrs. K. Half of you are watching. This live has not pressed the like button. Please do. Please press
the like button,
I
guys.
cannot say anything to the morning gang. Emily, they have put that video to 2,000 likes.
What? Woohoo! Morning gang. Thank you, guys.
Morning gang.
Thank you. That is we don't get 2,000 likes often, eh?
No, morning gang is nothing to.
And they always listen when we're like, guys, please like the video. They respond. Oh my God, guys, I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you, morning gang. The people that watch in the morning, you are highly appreciated over here in Mzansi Reality. Thank you so much. And press the like button. It's not a waste of time, I promise you. You're doing so much by pressing that like button. So yes, Mnisi was now on this whole cross-examining of Mangena, and he said that is it your testimony that the firearm which you say Rolfse used to work on before you could work on it, the barrel was worn out, it couldn't have transferred the required marks or most of the marks onto the test bullet. Mangena said that it was worn out, but it could transfer the markings, but not clear. He said that you could see the markings when you look at the exhibit. There are markings, but not completely wall to wall. So Mnisi then said, so it could not consistently transfer the marks into the bullet. Mangena said that's correct. It could not consistently transfer those markings.
Nis.
But there were markings transferred.
Now you see, This did his work, bro. That's what he was asked to do. And he did it properly.
Didn't he deny this in the morning?
He did.
Well, then Mnisi then said, nonetheless, you went on to conclude that indeed the bullet that you fired from the firearm and those you got from Rolf said, despite the fact that there was no consistent transfer, you went on to conclude that these test bullets were fired from this firearm. And Mangena said, that's correct, my lord. So Mnisi then asked him, you said the worn out of a barrel would result in the slippage of a bullet when it's being fired, and Mangena said correct. So would that slippage have an effect on the transfer of marks to the bullet? And Mangena said the slippage itself could create some other markings, but you could not get the same slippage when all the bullets will slip the same way and will pick up the same markings. So
the slippage creates a unique mark each time you shoot.
So what does this mean?
A slippage is something that is not man-made. Do you understand? Same as the creation of the individual marks, its barrels. But what they are trying to say is that if you make a mistake now, it does not mean that you will make the same mistake the same way. So if it jumps, maybe when it reaches a certain level, it's not going to jump. The other one is not going to jump like that. It's going to jump, maybe cut at a certain level, which is not similar to the previous one. So it creates those jumping marks, not marking. There's inconsistency. It's not going to be the same way that all of them, maybe they're going to be marked or jumped at the right or left.
So is there a possibility that even more than 8 shots were fired? This is me just asking, because you're trying to achieve something, right? Could you? I'm sorry for taking it that far. I take it back. Then Mnisi then said the slippage
I don't know what
have.
you're saying, but you stopped.
I take it back. It's
didn't
a
say
strong
anything.
allegation. Like to say that, does it go around? Why are you trying to get me into trouble?
Alleged.
It's a speculation that I'm making. You are saying in court you fired 8 shots.
Yeah.
What if he actually fired 80 shots just so he can achieve something that looks similar to the bullet that was found at this?
You've already said that. It's not something. You allegedly, you've created that theory of saying that. You even said eventually you see what you want to see.
Eventually you see what you hear what I'm saying?
I feel like, the company, why I feel like the company is being questioned this much, and where are those bullets? I feel like it's what they call a known test. What happened is there could have been a test among the bullets that were shot by the same expert, which is Mangena. That's why I'm thinking. That's why they want to identify those bullets of that company. Maybe the expert said on the other side, "Oh no, those bullets are from this company." But the problem is that I see maybe 1, 2, 3. I don't see the 8th one, the other one, the second one. Because remember the two of them.
Yes.
Maybe there's a bullet that is missing, and how Mangena is persistently trying to run away from answering that question is very scary. You understand? Because you're gonna need to show us on your test. Here's this exhibit. These are bullets of this company.
And he was supposed to write everything down, and
Yes.
he wasn't for some
All of a
reason
sudden,
writing
it's
everything.
the answer that matters. what if you tested with the same bullets that you shot?
You know,
that's something that cannot be ignored.
Mnisi then said the slippage does have an effect on consistent transfer of marks to the bullet. And Mangena said, that's correct, my lord. Mnisi then said, now having found that there is a match between FMJs that you fired from the firearm and those that were fired by Rufse, did you request someone to override your testing or examination? And Mangena said, no, my lord, because those were the only tests that he wanted to confirm. This is the same firearm. So Mnisi then said you were saying...
It's a known... What did you call it? A known... Forgot what do they call it? It's a known testing. He was testing something that he knows that it comes from this gun to test with.
Then Mnisi said you were saying one of the exhibits found at the scene was so damaged it could not assist in you trying to determine or to use it to match with your test bullets. Mangena said correct, it was suitable for microscopic comparison. Mangena said that he could not determine the caliber of that bullet because it was too damaged. So now, guys, I am done. You can call in. I feel that I am done. I feel that
but the problem of Mnisi, you see, that evidence might seem like it was boring. This sound to me, there are a lot of things that we've actually picked up on the very same cross-examination of Mnisi. But it sounds to me like they have a problem with these groups of bullets not being named. It shows that maybe. Let me answer this caller.
All right.
Nzanze, hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. My comment today is really about a concern that I have about a few things that the kennel, disclosed in the court. And I think Ngomezulu also had maybe the same concerns, even though he didn't really elaborate it like that because because Baloyi objected when he made a comment about the behavior of the police. There's a saying, Yahore, familiarity breeds contempt. Most people, or should I say maybe some people, when they get into a workplace, they develop some kind of professional relationships with their colleagues. Okay?
Yes.
Sometimes these relationships are developed unintentionally. What I mean is that the parties don't actually plan for these relationships to develop.
Yeah.
Sometimes these relationships usually come about because of maybe how dependable, efficient, or responsive one party is, maybe to the requests of the other party. For instance, if you work in an IT department, you may develop a relationship with someone in payroll because they always respond quickly to your queries, right?
Yes.
You then become comfortable with that person, and then they become your go-to person for all queries that you may have pertaining to payroll, right? However, this is a slippery slope which can potentially become a pitfall, okay? Due to the trust that gets established between the parties, professional boundaries can be crossed. And then this professional relationship then develops into a personal relationship, okay? Which then leaves room for nefarious activities where this relationship can now be used for personal interests, okay? I'm not in any way insinuating that this is what happened between Gininda and Mangena. But I'm also not saying that it didn't happen, okay? Because if Gininda can call Mangena and say, I have an exhibit here, please look at it for me. To me, there seems to be a relationship or a mateship where Gininda can call upon Mangena for favors to an extent that Mangena would then embark on an exhaustive exercise, visiting prisons to find Gininda's missing piece of the puzzle. Having said that, as a citizen, I have two questions. The first question is, how many ballistic experts are there in Gauteng province that so much that Gininda feels compelled to reach out to Mangena specifically? Right? That's my first question. My second question is, do we have a shortage of manpower in this specialty of forensics? Because one person seems to be all over, right? I'm asking these questions because I'll give you an example. I'll just lay out an example so that what I'm trying to say makes sense. And when I give this example, please try and link it to what Mangena has disclosed in the code, right?
Yes.
For example, if I do a collection point for a blood test, my sample is taken from me, right? There's somebody who draws blood from me, and then the specimen is transported to the lab for further analysis, right?
Yes.
Now, imagine if the person who took blood from me, number one, has the luxury of access to a specific pathologist at the lab center that is going to analyze my blood, right?
Yes.
And the second thing, this person who took my blood can take my blood sample and drive it themselves to that pathologist. That pathologist who can then drive around Gauteng with it with no consequence and can't even be stopped by lab security because they can just waive their medical registration and employment card. And number three, even worse, my blood sample can be removed by any pathologist who works in that lab because they have an interest in it. Now, how then can I trust that there was nothing nefarious or sinister that could have happened to my blood sample based on all these truths, right? And if the just application of the law has to determine my freedom based on the blood results, can I confidently say, these results are a true representation of the facts? Do you know what I mean? Like Mangena said, Gininda called him, he brought the exhibit to him, he was driving around with it, and then he also said that any police officer who has an interest in an exhibit can just go and get it. These are the things that he said, right? So now, the problem here is this. The mere fact that Gininda can call upon certain individuals to execute tasks, for me, is a big, big problem. It has become very apparent in this case that Gininda called certain people and for certain tasks, So as a citizen, how can I then watch this case and then trust that the results that were produced by the analysis can actually bring justice? So I think that the entire system needs an overhaul from processes to governance and policies, right? If we want to preserve the little bit of integrity, if there is any, that our law enforcement agency has, things need to change. Because if an investigation, they can do it this way. If an investigation officer requires ballistic analysis, they should be able to log a request on a system. And any ballistic expert who has the expertise should execute their task. You know what I mean? An investigating officer should not have the luxury of accessing certain individuals and can say, Mang, please do this for me. It should just be a call that is logged on the system, and then anybody who, when the requests come through a system, anybody who has expertise in ballistics should then work on that thing, right?
Yes.
And then the second thing that I'm thinking that they should do is they should also consider rotations where they move people around to break that cycle of familiarity. Because if they are able to break that cycle of familiarity, they can decrease the chances of fraud and corruption. You know what I mean? Because human beings are not perfect. Do you know what I mean? Because where there is an opportunity for people to cheat and take shortcuts, people will do that. That is why we have laws and things like that in the country. If human beings were infallible, do you know what I mean? We wouldn't have laws, because then human beings would be doing the right thing all the time. But that is my problem. So that's my contribution today. I just want to say you guys are doing a great job. You don't need 4 peer reviews, or nor do you need to manipulate or convince yourselves. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And to all the youth. So you don't need all of that, because you're doing a great job, and unlike somebody that we're not going to mention, And to all the viewers who were giving their super chats, we really appreciate you guys, being so generous and just giving and I just pray that God will just bless you, and then you keep having more so that you give more. I really appreciate you guys.
And get you guys to come and have your shows.
Thank you
very much. Yeah. And please smash the like button, guys. Come on, get out of this bad habit of always wanting to be asked to smash the like button. Smash the like button if you want to see those likes go up. You know what I mean? Let's not the morning then take the glory from us who keep the candle burning at night. I love you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye. Right. There's nothing to explain there. I think everything is properly explained, thoroughly analyzed. And what you are feeling, I've been feeling it. The power that the people that are investigating you have, as if they are immune to crime themselves. Zanzi, hello.
Mr. Anonymous, how are you?
I'm all right, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. Emily, how are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm good. Actually, I just have, I firstly want to agree with the first caller. Because I've been asking the same question, how many times these teams have been working together in the past? Meaning Baloyi, Kininda, because if you can see, these people, they know each other. So in the past cases, it shows that they've been working together, so they have that relationship. So for Kininda to call Mangena, it shows they have that working relationship. So he knew Mangena will give him what he wants. So yeah, I tend to agree with the first caller. But my point is that I like it on this court because we use a logic, as our judge used to say. So now I look at the scenario of everything and look at the bullet, the way it ended in the house. For me, or using my logic, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You see the gap between the deceased and the door, that gap, it plays a big role. I don't know if you are going to follow me and you are going to understand what I'm trying to explain to you.
We'll try.
It plays a big role showing the down going of the bullet.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult for Emily because I'm sure he never shot the gun.
Unfortunately.
Knowing or working with guns. For me, that bullet, it ended on the ground.
Yes.
Let the down going of the bullets. And since in that spaza shop, they feel they are not affording a pavement. So there was nothing that can ricochet that bullet. So it was just the ground. And go back to the wall of the wall that is dividing the spaza and the next door. Because now going mathematically, that bullet's supposed to go down. Looking at the down going of that bullet, it hits the ground. Let's say for the sake of the state, it hit the stone on the ground, right? And then it ricochets. It goes to the wall, right? And then it comes back to the door. For me, using my logic, that door was supposed to be half open to end where that bullet ended. But because of there was a deceased behind the door, now we are coming from outside. There was a deceased, so roughly I could say that bullet was supposed to go into that space, hit the wall again, and it end where it ended behind those glasses. So for me, it doesn't make sense. And now also, the bullet is not. How can I put this? It's not. It's still intact. Like it didn't lose any shape. All those ricochets, it didn't lose any shape. It ended there as it is. So let's say maybe it hit the stone. Remember, you are not speaking about the wrapper. We are speaking about the steel. The bullet is a steel. So it's supposed to lose a shape at the same time. All these grooves that they are talking about, the prints around the bullet. It's supposed to lose those prints along because if you can check the ricochets of this bullet, it took a lot of ricochets. It's a body itself, the door, down the ground, straight to the wall, back inside the house, which for me is impossible. Or that bullet, it was if for the sake of trying to solve this case, if that bullet that hit Senzo went straight to the door and down, I think that bullet is still there. For me, if I use my logic, the bullet is still on the ground because remember the ground, it acts as a trap.
Yeah,
Yes.
Understand? Because if you are shooting a bullet on the ground, it's gonna go straight down.
Yeah.
Unless if it hits the stone. If it hits the stone, then it's gonna come back up. Understand? So for me, it doesn't make sense with that bullet. It travels and took those much ricochets and never lose the shape and ended in the house. It's impossible for me. That's really using my logic. So I think the defense, they supposed to ask the ballistic expert, like, how possible would that bullets can travel that much? Because now, if you compare, there is these bullets, as they say, this guy, the first lawyer, or there is also other bullet that hit long way, and then he went into operation. So if you can compare these two bullets on the same gun, how powerful? Because if this bullet can travel that much, the one that hit long, why didn't hit long and went through the bone on a close range? If that bullet can go through that, like those regulations, for me, both scenarios doesn't make sense, and I still believe that bullet, if it's the same bullet that hit Senzo straight to the door, I think it's still there for me.
Yeah, no,
possibly still there.
I hear you. Oh, it was there. Maybe it's no more.
It's possible also.
You know how it is, man. These can grow legs. Yeah, but that's. I get your theory. I do follow your theory.
Yeah. Thanks very much, guys, and thank you for what you are doing on this case, because sometimes you lose a lot of things. I'm also morning gang now because of work, so at night it's difficult. So today I decided to wait. I decided to wait and try and give this my scenario.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the morning. So
it's 1-1. We have been getting sound, proper input.
Proper analysis.
Proper analysis. Let's press that like button and keep on calling. And I hope you're coming with a proper theory.
Yes, and a proper analysis. Did you hear? Did you hear our previous family members and how much they are, thinking about these scenarios? Bring them on.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Is this Mzansi Reality?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Mr. Arno. This is T Brownskin. I'm one of your favorite followers.
Hey, hi, T Brownskin.
Look, thank you guys for such an amazing show. I've been following for a while, but normally I'm in the terraces. But today I was like, no, I need to call in.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
But I have to agree with the first caller. Like everything that she said is spot on. I really think that there's a lot of professional boundaries, blurred lines in this whole investigation.
Yes.
But I'm really grateful that a lot of those things are starting to come up. But we're still in the state's case, which is really good because the defense still has an opportunity to bring their case.
Yes.
The defense still has an opportunity to bring their ballistic expert to debunk a lot of these things.
Yes.
And sometimes I think it's not even necessary to fight too much with some of these nonsense things because the defense will also be showing their hand. So sometimes you can let some of these things slide so that when they come, the state is not prepared for what the defense has got.
Yes.
So I'm feeling a bit more confident now, seeing where things are going and seeing the things that are being exposed. So I think we're at a good turning point in this case.
Yes.
So we can let Gata do his nonsense. I mean, that old man has just got issues. But we can leave him to his nonsense.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, when it's the defense case, he's not going to have a lot to say.
Yes.
Because it's going to be the defense show. It's no longer going to be Baloyi's show.
Yes.
And that's the last show at the end of the case. So I think there's still hope, guys. I'm really hopeful, and I'm glad we're seeing this era happen in front of our eyes.
Yes.
There's not a lot of places to hide because this case is televised. And I've been seeing some legal experts as well that have been commenting on some of the inconsistencies of the process in itself. So I think I'm happy. I think there's hope for us, guys.
Yeah, no, there is.
When I heard of Sowetan, yeah, I was like, okay, now we're going somewhere.
Now we're going somewhere. Now we're talking.
We are going somewhere.
Now we're talking.
No, but I really love you guys. You guys do an amazing job, and we'll continue to support you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All right, have a good day, guys. Bye.
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 You chose a nice name there. Grace Musia, thank you.
Grace Musia, thank you.
We welcome you.
And welcome to Mzansi Reality.
If you're not coming back, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome again. They have welcomed me. Thank you. And we have people who are very welcoming here. Yeah, let's hear what you guys have to say. You see? 3 over 3. We're on 100%. No one deviating, telling us something else. Everyone, spot on.
That theory of the bullet, though.
It's a nice one. I'm still going to listen to
now
it.
Now that I think about
the first one, I resonate also with the first caller. Why? I've been thinking, I mean, the power, I've been saying, the power that one person would have over you when they're investigating you.
You just call people, they come running.
That's why it's easy for some of these police to just take you and throw you to jail and create a case. Benim Gomez will say, you guys are like that.
You're cooking.
Cooking.
Who's cooking? They're going to accuse you of cooking. Did you hear that? I'm like, the judge is entering the chat. They're going to say you are cooking.
You cook.
It's going down. It's going down in that courtroom. Every day is a show.
Guys, it's your show to call. Mamela, Skunada, thank you. Dumiso, Snooms, thank you. Season 18, thank you for being here. Bushali, thank you. It's a vendor Bushali though. Yeah, I must say. Whitson, thank you. Spepelo, thank you. Sia, thank you. Therefore Grace Dove. I love you, Emily, and Ano watching from Botswana.
Hi, Botswana is in the building.
Yes.
Hi, Grace.
Botswana is in the building.
Botswana is in the building. Oh, guys, sometimes
who else is watching from different country?
We have people from Botswana, people from Tanzania, people from Namibia. Namibia is also a regular.
Yeah, it's a regular. Tell us where you're watching. Paul Manjani. Those are people that are in the chat, guys, that I'm calling. I know you might be confused. Sikhameit was also here. Calvin Sam, also here. Dave Cheat, also here. T Brown Skin, the last caller.
Brown Skin is the one that called us.
Nice word, nice name.
Yes, the third caller. T Brown Skin.
Zipondi, our member. Thank you for being here. Mommy is back. Thank you for being here. And then obviously, Tulani is also here. Nat, our moderator, is here. And then Grace, welcome again. is here also on the chats. Mbuso Zondi also here on the chat. Kiwa also here. Joe Munare also here on the chat. B is also here on the chat. Mlilo is also here on the chat. Batu Mlilo ngesizulu uzunga uthi. Mambush
Mlilo
is also here. I'm not sure if it's Mambush of Daniel Mdao. Mams is also here. I'm just going through your guys' name. If I butcher your name, I don't mean it. Breezy N is also here. Mbasi Moroka is also here. Those are people who are here.
Moroka.
Let's see. Hey, it's Moroka. Hey. Let's see. I've been inviting people, especially those who still believe in the judge and accused guilty. Don't argue anymore, but just invite to visit Mzansi. Maybe we'll have a bit of understanding here. This is Mami saying, Tendai, how are you doing? I think that who's this? I'm trying to read it. I think Tata Morero have a point. He sees all this corruption and he can't deal with it. Yes, this is someone on the chats. Tabani Lamini api amahloni kodwa kurata. Caesar, thanks everyone in this channel. Well-behaving people. Yes, this way. Thank you. Greeting. Francis Liberty. Yeah, greeting our member. Mambush, I just hope that the Rata listens carefully to what is being said inside the court. He should stop saying, Mina, I know everything. I listen, jiggy jiggy. He says the complete opposite of what is being said. Dooms. We love you guys. Keep up the good work. Linus Numbo. Free advocate day for campaign should gather steam now. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Yes, you've got a point there. You've got a point. Pepelo Tembale to Timbane, watching from Northwest University. Northwest University. Yes. Kornala Ekaya. I'm thinking of visiting Northwest there. As long as you have some scope there.
Yes. I'm not in Northwest.
Is it nice? I've never been there.
It's refreshing.
Truth must be told. I've never been in Limbs. Yes. Mbuso Zondi. Greetings, Mami. I'm watching from Burkina Faso. Kidding? Oh yeah, you almost had me. You almost had me.
Hey,
there.
Burkina Faso, how is it going there? Hey, I've been wanting someone from Burkina Faso.
No, but it's not from Burkina Faso.
You're not. You're kidding. Hi,
Batung. Watching from Ekapa. Yeah, Ekapa is a country where CMC on its own, so it's a country closer to South Africa.
It's like, yo, Batung, Burkina Faso.
Greetings to that country.
I want news there. I want news updates.
David Mabuza. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Ano and Emily, watching from Eswatini. Eswatini. One of our
just around the corner here.
One of our province.
One of our
we are a province to them also. Watching from USA. Francis Libert is saying he's watching from USA.
USA, whoo!
I hope you vote correct.
Please vote right.
We're not
vote very wisely. Please.
Doom's watching from Secunda. I don't understand. I don't understand why there's disagreement of witnesses' statements from the House. It's those statements that got 5 here. Now it's like they never said anything. Yes, Hamiti, all the way from Botswana, but she's watching from Sweden. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sweden.
Zlatan's country, yes. Ibrahimovic. Yeah, it's Ibrahimovic's country.
It's Sweden.
Yes, Vutali saying Dishivenda, Mr. Anonymous.
Over
yes. Hey, you don't understand how many times I bite my tongue before calling him. Mlambo Designs, watching from home of the FBI and Tina Kona Abantu Esingaba Vumi, not naming names. Yes. Masrib, powerful callers. The callers were good, eh?
Yes.
I don't think I'm even worried that there's no one calling now. I'm just gonna go through this. Net Botswana, our big sister who paved the way for the freedom. Yes, people here, they're knowledgeable. People, they know things, man. Like, hey, they paved the freedom for us. Okay. Hey, I'm trying to read someone's name when I'm quiet. Don't worry. Hosietzile.
Hosietzile.
Hosietzile. Does it
KG?
mean? Yeah. Does it mean God did?
Hosietzile.
Yeah. What does it
Hosi
mean?
means a king.
Oh.
Itzile.
Okay.
The king arrived. I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
It's gonna tell us all the way from Botswana, and then Kiwa, what is this flag? Oh,
all the way from Botswana.
What is this flag? Is it United?
Guys, I'm serious. I wanna go to Botswana one day. And
make sure that you don't commit any crime there, because we are not coming to your aid. If you
even Namibia, if I can reach Namibia too, I want to see our neighbors.
Yeah, no, I do. I also do. Most of the ones that are very close to me, and then the rest, obviously, I think we have broken relationship. So
Nigeria. We are
sorry,
Nigeria. We are sorry.
I saw this.
I'm telling you, TikTok is lit. Nigerians are dragging us one day.
No. We have our Miss that side who's representing South Africa. And that's what people are saying. Mpo Eunice Zwane, me too. I am struggling to register from months now, and I wanna be a member. You wanna be a member? You're struggling to register. In this.
No, it's not that hard.
It's not
that difficult. Just go down below the screen. After you subscribe, there's a join. You know, there's a word join.
Yeah, once you subscribe, then you're going to see join.
And then you click there.
Then there are options of finances that you can contribute as a member.
And then you can also choose the one you like and prefer, and that's going to work for you. And you must also have comfort in knowing that we don't see your banking details. YouTube has them and hides them from us.
Exactly.
So that's why we prefer it this way, because see, hey, the world now.
Raul says good night, but guys, do you see that Mr. Mgomez is brave like D4? Yes, he is. Mina is... I saw his character in Mgo. Yes, he moves like that. A moderate, I'd say a bit calmer version of
and
different,
more calculated.
more calculative, knows when to pull back.
And emotionally as well, he is not too quick to react.
Yeah, he's not irritable easily.
Yeah, and he's not irritated easily. I think as a lawyer, you have to have that. It's very hard in South Africa with judges like Ratam Khwatleng, but you have to have it, because I feel like sometimes you are provoked to reactions.
Elakanyani Samuel Vana Vodala Mazwifi have. I'm not sure if I read it correct. That's Venda. Yes.
That's Chivenda.
Shanjiwe Sibanda, watching from this is England, right? Britain, but from Zimbabwe.
Okay, Zimbabwe.
Our neighbor.
Our
lovely neighbors.
Our
we love
neighbor.
You. We fight like brothers and sisters. Okay.
Yeah, we are like siblings with Zimbabwe.
Please just like the video, guys. We're giving you a chance to like the video before we knock off. Stelo, beautiful show, guys. Love you. Thank you, Stelo.
Thank you so much, Stelo.
Net, but Mngomezulu has more emotional maturity, therefore can be a bit of a live wire.
I feel like he's provoked and the provocation becomes intense.
Yeah.
So that by the time he reacts, we see him as the wrong person.
Yeah, it comes from maybe emails or something.
Yeah,
like
he doesn't express the provocation part in detail. You see Mngomezulu is able to come to court and say there's somebody who was looking at my yard. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mbuso and Runback. Yeah, it's a country of its own. And then Petro. I'm struggling to read your name. I'm sorry. It's written in mathematical way. Hi, watching from Atteridgeville. I'm Mangena home girl. Hey, disappointed by him.
Disappointed, Kesana. Yo, if you are feeling disappointed, me, it's even worse because I watched him in Oscar Pistorius' case.
He's good.
I was like, he can't do. The first time he came to testify, I'm like, this is not the Mangena that I saw in that other case. I even went to the videos of Oscar Pistorius' case just to see if I was not dreaming. You know?
It's a brother. Magaya usually follow from Australia, currently on Zoom on holidays. You two guys are beautiful.
Thank you. And please enjoy your holiday.
Enjoy your
holiday. Breathe in the air of Africa. It's important. And then go there and face them again.
Hey, Emily, you translated right. That is host.
Kosizile. Thank you. Hey, my Setswana. Sometimes it's rusty.
Saying no, Mr. Anon, Zlatan is from Bosnia. Parents came to Sweden as refugees, but he's the king of Sweden now in terms of football. We know Sweden because of that, man.
Really?
In terms of football, yes. Yes, it's a blessing in disguise. Come, Emily, to Botswana, very peaceful country.
Very. Yes. That's why I want to go there. Nobody can stop me. Botswana.
Madziling, watching from Free State.
Peace.
And then, Mami, this is one and the only channel which teaches us a real democracy in Nigeria. Mami is in Nigeria.
Nigeria, we love you, okay? It's just that.
Tafadzwa. Night Riders, Emily and Anonymous, you are a bomb.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I highly appreciate all these positive comments. I do. They give me energy, you know? Because there's sometimes I'm like, I'm not sure. I always want to deliver the best.
Emily, banking details was a worry for me as a member though now. Before I became a member. We don't see them. We
have no access to them and nobody else can see them besides you two.
Hafads are watching from Zimbabwe. Okay, let's see. Who else? Okay, yeah, people are talking. Yeah, guys, thank you very much. Please like the video on your way out. Those who are almost done watching. I'm trying to find people saying their countries, but it seems as if mostly it's South Africans at night. Anlelingani. Yes, anlelingani. Why are you not sleeping? I know I understand people who are in other countries. Hey, this is South Africa. Lali. Sibusisiwe Ndlovu. Mr. Anonymous, where there is V you pronounce as B. Yes. Boo. Bo. But that's a thing. Boo.
Don't say bo. It's like bo. You know, Chivenda. Bo. You know, you don't say
Ned,
bo.
Love you loads. Thank you, Ned. Sanji, where Emily visit Botswana? It's a beautiful country I used to visit before I came to UK.
She came to so you are in the UK now. Yo, guys, I want to go to Botswana.
Botswana is the place. It's our next stop. We'll be pulling a show that side. And then, I'm sure
when
there's
people
always
are
shading
going
there.
to vacations in Mauritius, I just get a tweak. Botswana.
So can we get it from this channel, the money, so that I can also go?
Yes, so
with
that
my
we travel.
family, and then you go with your family.
Then we go and you see Botswana, and you see
Right.
Batho ba gaetso man. So I feel
On
like
point.
I should.
Hi, Emily Salmas. I think the defense should compare the serial number on the firearm license with one on the firearm itself. The problem with that, before I even finish reading, is that when you do that ashing,
Yes.
you write that thing down, it disappears again. That's what I heard from Mangena.
Yes.
So, which is easy to manipulate, if you ask me. I guess it is not the same, and that is why Colonel Mangena does not want to entertain the issue of firearm ownership. According to Chico Twala in his interview, his firearm that was taken from testing is a revolver. If I heard him correct. Yes. If you heard him correct.
It was a revolver. And then the more recent one that we did the video on it, they were talking about a pistol.
Oh, it's UK. So me, those flags, I only know.
Oh, the flags.
I only know one flag. There's only one flag that I can surely tell you this one is America, because we are forced to know it. We watch movies coming from that side.
And then there are those unique ones, like the ones from Botswana. Even a Zimbabwe
I know Botswana
one,
I know.
miss a
I can
Nigeria
miss
flag,
Botswana, I can miss Nigeria.
Jamaica, their flag also is
Jamaica.
unique. It has yellow, green, and black.
And then you get these ones that have red, yellow,
white.
It's red, yellow, green, I think. There are countries who have similar flags like that. I think you're Burkina Faso, and that's when it confuses you.
Okay.
Until someone tells you this is Burkina Faso. No, Botswana's flag is unique. The colors are just waters. It's waters there. You can't miss it.
No, you
even
can't.
if you want to. Thank you, guys. Please like the video. It's a bye from me. Thank you. It's Friday already.
Yeah, it's already Friday, guys. Let us listen some more of this cross-examination again until we meet again later on in the night or day or morning. Sharp.